Hi, I have built my own social media scheduler. This is now only for Twitter, but I can extend this same for threads and for any other platform for cross posting like Twitter or Instagram or TikTok and other things. So you can see this is one of the posts which I have made today, and you can see this is the time like the 5:42 p.m. And if I open this, this was the actually the community post which I did from my platform, and not only community post, it can also post in your timeline. It will open up and you can see this was posted in my timeline, and similarly this is the timeline of how I posted. And not only that, it has also posted threads through my particular application. So if I go here and if I show you posting for threads testing for my project, so this is what I have done. And today I'm going to talk about the architecture of building social media scheduler. What exactly do you need to build your own SaaS for social media scheduler? You must have seen Postbridge, PostThinker, or SuperX. They all do one basic thing, and that is scheduling and posting tweets or maybe posting posts to any social media platform, right? And we need to understand the basic of that particular architecture. And that's why I have created this particular diagram for you guys. You can see in this diagram, we need to understand what a client and what a server, from where things actually works. You can say this is the client, which we usually refer as browser, or we can say the React code, and server, which is the API where we write, or you can say the Node.js code. So this is how things are separated. If you're using Go, server can be anything, but majority of the client are built on React, which is converted into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in the end. And we need to understand what social media schedulers are allowing us, and that is they allow us posting text, or either posting images, or either posting videos. So these are the three content types which social media allows us, be it Instagram, be it Twitter, be it TikTok, or be it X. Everyone allows majority of them. Only Twitter allows the posts which are text based, and LinkedIn only allows it. Otherwise, other platforms allow either with image or either with videos. So these are different platforms. So we have understood that what we can post and what social media scheduler actually does. So the social media scheduler solves one problem, and that is if you have multiple accounts, then you need to post daily. Or if you are some business owner, you need to post daily to maintain consistency, to maintain the virality loop. And that's why you need to be consistent. And for consistent, you cannot be all day long on social media scrolling, or maybe posting, or maybe creating content. You are building your own skills. You are also building some things in the behind the scenes which are not capturable through the social media persona, and you cannot scroll, right? And that's where scheduling comes. Now the problem with scheduling is that if I want to schedule one particular post which goes into Twitter, which goes into TikTok, which goes into Instagram, I cannot post it from one platform, unified platform. I have to go each and every of them and upload. And that's where social media scheduler SaaS comes in. It gives a unified platform for scheduling, drafting, rescheduling. And this is what I have built and what I understand, that is MCP servers. You need to give MCP server so that the drafts which are already done, AI can go and AI can edit the drafts. It can be caption, it can be description, it can be timestamps in the description, it can be anything, right? And we want MCP servers to do that. And the starting point is to understand how the MCP server works, and the architecture will help you. Also, I have made a previous videos on MCP servers. You can watch them to understand how to build MCP server. I will not cover MCP servers architecture here because it's a different topic altogether, but I will cover the basics. Now we have done what automation we can do, what actually we can post aloud. Now we have to understand what our server does. First of all, it gives us function. So if I want to post something, I have post to Twitter, post to threads, post to Instagram, post to TikTok. So these are the functions which I have to create for every post when it goes live. And then these posts, these functions cannot be accessed from the client. We need to expose them through APIs, GraphQL, but APIs with HTTPS is the standard format to do that. And I will tell you why APIs are required in our cases. And after that, we have server for S3 bucket connection. What are S3s? So the blob files, which are large binary object, for example PDF, videos, images, they are all considered blob. And as you know, social media platform supports images and videos. We need to have a S3 bucket for our application, and that's why S3 bucket is connection is also important. Database again is very important to store the data to actually verify everything. So database is which we cannot skip in any server. After that, we have to listen to webhooks. So as I told you, we are providing scheduling, and scheduling is not easy if you're doing on your own. So you have to rely on third party services. Even if you don't rely on third party services, you have to build your own server, because cron job is messy when it gets a list of many users onboard into your platform. So cron jobs are not an efficient way to solve that. After that, you get the data from the user, and then you send that data to schedulers, and after that scheduler sends that data back again to you when it times to post. So we will understand the architecture later on, and this is what server does, and server take action. After that, we have APIs of social media. So whenever we are uploading to Twitter, we are uploading to TikTok, we are uploading to Instagram, we are calling their API, which allows us to post. So they have exposed their own APIs, which we can call to upload media on the user's behalf. So this is what actually the architecture looks, and this is what you need to understand about how to build a social media scheduler. After that, we have to understand data flow. So this is the most important part we need to understand, and that is direct post. So right now we can send either curl request to API directly. So whenever I am typing something, maybe for example, for for disclaimer, my server is not running, it's just preloaded content. So if I type something, and if I send post, so it will directly call the API, and that's what here we have mentioned. It will directly call the API, and after that it will save the data into the database so that it knows that we have saved. So this list which is rendered here, it actually contains the post ID and when it was posted. So this is what we have, and if I hide the preview, you can see when this was created and when this was posted. So this is very important, and this is what we do for text posts. Now when it comes to media posts, these architecture becomes messy and it is very different. And if you just rely on AI won't do good job. You have to give a better context, and that's why I have created this GitHub repository, which I will link. So this is my code repository, which I will link into the description. You can go and see the code yourself to understand how to build one using Next.js. So read that and understand how what are the behind the scenes actions. So when we are, for example, if I upload one media here, so there you can see, not this one, this media. If I drag and drop one media here, again my server is not running, so I will not be able to show the live demo. But whenever I drag an image, for example, I have screenshots, so I will just do, if I have screenshot and if I drag and drop here, it will actually error. So this is showing error because server is not running, but it will actually upload my URL, and then I will type something, and then I will post, and what happens. So you can see, first of all, my upload was done to S3. Once it is done uploading, then we save the URL of that uploaded object and the caption in the database. That's the first thing to do. The reason being, if data gets lost, our URL to that media file will also be lost. So that's why we have to first of all stitch together the data, and after that we upload the media to social media API. That means if you're using Facebook, if you're using Twitter, if you're using Threads, you have to always upload media first, and uploading that media first is what gives you media ID. And whenever you are uploading something, you get media ID, and then with the caption you link the media ID and you upload it to social media. So this is the step. So first of all, you save it in your database, then you download the URL like the media, and then upload the media to your social media API, then you post it together. And if it is thread or carousel, we just implement a for loop into that same container. If it is a thread, we just reply to that, or like parent tweet ID. So this is what we have to do when media is appearing, and this is what you have to do when text is appearing. Now we have to understand what are scheduled posts and how we are. So this is the third level which you have to do in your scheduler. And again, if it is a blob file like image, video, or GIF type, we upload to our S3 first. Then we send the request. Again, obviously we do the step 1 and step 2 first. Then we send the request to our scheduler to remind us at this time. So what exactly are schedulers? So you can see I am using a serverless messaging and scheduling via HTTP, and this is QStash. So what exactly does it do? So what happens whenever I actually do? Okay, I will show you what it does. Okay, first of all, I send message to this server that remind me to post at this time. So I will send this URL that remind me at this URL. So for example, I'm telling you guys, remind me to wake me at 6 a.m. And you will tell, how will I remind you? I will tell, just call me. So this is one of the mean. I could have even said you that knock my door, but maybe you are somewhere far. So you will call my number. And that's what we are telling. You have to call this URL, and then the method is again post. You have to send a body, and that body is this one. So what I am sending, this is a type tweet ID I am giving. This is relevant to my database. Then the content, I found the coolest chatbot. Then the user ID to which it is linked. Then the Twitter account ID which it is linked. Then the is it thread, true or false? If it is thread, what is the thread data? We get the thread data, and that is content. Again, same content I was just testing out. And the media ID, and media ID is nothing but the media ID which is stored in our S3 bucket. This is not the uploaded one. And after that, we have the body. We tell what are the headers you have to send. You have to send content type application JSON and execute schedule true. And after that, it also contains the signatures which we actually verify through our webhooks. So this is what we do. And once this is created, it becomes active at the time of posting. So I just did after 1 minute. So I like created this webhook, like the scheduled message at 6-7 p.m. and then I asked to schedule it for 6-8, and at 6-8 it was triggered. And when it was triggered, it it took time to get response from the server, and once it got response from the server that yeah, it was successful, it got delivered. And sometimes what happens, things are not good, and you can see whenever it was active, it threw error that failed to process media ID, and it could be something like read like active failed to post with code 429, like rate limit was done and things like that. And when these errors are received, it tries to retry, and there are total 3 retries this QStash does. First of all, we can change it again when we are scheduling this message, and once this does, it get paused, and it looks for another time to deliver this message. So right now it is cancelled, and that's why it is not showing the next time to deliver. So here it comes with next time to deliver. And this is one of the important thing which is very crucial to our application, and that is scheduled post. We send the request to scheduler to remind us at this time. Then when it's time, scheduler sends us message back to the webhook URL and there with body and ID. We upload that data to social media API. That is, if it contains media, we first of all upload that to social media API. Then we get the media ID back, and then when we get the media ID back, then we post. And that's why you must have seen that it took around like 8 seconds or something. 8 seconds or 8. Okay, I will just show you. So this was the logs. So you can see 6-8 was the trigger time, and 6-8 4 seconds was the deliver time. So it took around 4 seconds to process the request because we were uploading to media like the API and things like that. And again, I have to tell you about something, and that is the R2 API. You can use this for sure, like S3 bucket. You don't need to set up Amazon S3, Google S3, Azure S3, or Vercel Blob. You can just use Cloudflare. It is very easy to set up. I will just show you how you can build your own one. You can create bucket, maybe demo YouTube. Then again, you can as per your jurisdiction, you can do that location. I don't have any jurisdiction, so I will just do it automatic. If you're if you're from Europe, you can choose your jurisdiction accordingly. And after that, my bucket is created. And when my bucket is created, what I need to do, I need to go to API and use R2 with APIs. If I go to R2 with API, you can see I got the S3 compatible ID. I need this account ID. This is the crucial thing to create S3 API. And once we have the account ID, what we need to do, manage API tokens. And we need to go here and create account token. And we need to create all the access for our application. So I will just show you what access do we need. This one, admin read and write. We need all thing, and we can include the items or not. So once this is done, well and good. And I also need to make sure that I tell you, and that is the social media scheduler. Okay, my API keys are not exposed. Well and good. Okay, I will show you what we need to do, and we need to set up the scores policy. When we do this scores policy, we allow localhost 3000 to actually access the pre-signed URL. So whenever you are hosting something in the client, what happens is that you cannot give the public URL, or if you don't want to give the public URL, you need to give a pre-signed URL, and that pre-signed URL is something which is valid only for 1 hour or 60 minutes. And that also you need to select which host can actually access that pre-signed URL, and that's where you have to mention which origins are allowed to access that particular URL. And you can see what methods we can do and what headers are allowed and what tags, like the headers tag, we are allowing. And this is we do actually to get the pre-signed URL to show in the host, so that whenever I'm seeing some drafts of my tweet, whenever I'm seeing some drafts of my video, at that particular time I know that this item is right or wrong, and I can maybe edit or replace, and that particular thing is required. And that's where we need to set up this course policy, and that's where we get the pre-signed URL and we show the pre-signed URL. And this is what we need to do. And let's talk about some guardrails which you need to check. First of all, you need to check with upload size. In Twitter, if you're using the Twitter interface, you can upload up to many GB of files, maybe 16 GB of files. But if you're using the Twitter API, you need to limit the upload size. This is one of the things which you need to take care of. After that, again, Instagram, TikTok have their own different upload limit, and you need to always check upload limit, so that whenever you're pushing from your own S3 bucket to API, it doesn't get any error. After that, we have to see whether the bucket is public URL. As I already told you, if the bucket is public URL, so you can see that here I can actually allow public development URL. Like, I need to add public URL, but I don't want to give public URL access to anyone, because my data is binded to each and every user. So data privacy is very important, and public URL is not the option. And that's why what you have to do, you have to make sure that it is not public URL, and whenever possible, if you want to share some URLs, you use pre-signed URL which are valid for up to 1 hour. And also at the same time, you need to make sure that whenever you are uploading something, you first of all download that particular file and then upload in chunks if it is a big file, or upload directly, but first of all download it. If you give the URL and if the container cannot access the URL, then the request will get failed. And if failed, let scheduler retry with a rate limit. And when something is deleted, not something is deleted, when something is deleted from the UI, from draft, maybe from scheduled, make sure to delete that from the S3 bucket, so it will optimize your space. So these are few guardrails you have to follow, and this is the complete video which you should know about how to build your own SaaS scheduler for your social media. And you can now sell it to your customers if you want, or if you want to keep it to yourself, you can keep it. And this is the GitHub repository which I will link into the comments, which you can refer, and as well as the PDF. So yeah, let's meet you in the next video, where I will upload the item, and I will also do some preliminary check whether things are filling or not, and I will get back to you once this is done. So see you guys. Bye.